So I just got back from some mandatory overtime. And in the Drew industry, we're kind of more like the elves of the North Pole, where we're working on everybody's gifts for Christmas Day. And so I usually don't get to enjoy the whole season like everybody else does, because I'm just at my bench working away and getting all these rings made. And what also makes Christmas especially heavy for there's just a lot. It's the jeweler's Super Bowl, really. And the other reason why we have so many projects is because we do make a ton of engagement rings around that time as well. Because everybody, all the holidays, I notice for some reason they get kind of like some romantic, fuzzy feelings, and they want to propose and things like that. So it's actually bigger than Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is actually not a big holiday for us. Our second biggest holiday is around Mother's Day. People go out for Mother's Day versus Valentine's because people still make like flowers and chocolates. It's what they think of when they get gifts. For myself, I got to have a small break for the new year, and I'm just getting back in the swing of things. And now I'm just working on some other stuff, and got this ring here that's a it's a yellow gold engagement ring. It's kind of unique. It's not like one of those other type of engagement rings with just like a diamond solitaire. This one's gonna have a lot of variety of gemstones and some intricate designs inside, and so I'm just removing all the extra metal and stuff that I don't need. Christmas for me has always been like just a fun, beautiful, classic holiday that I personally enjoyed, especially as a kid. But till I became a jeweler, then it kind of felt different, and I felt like I had to just give up the holiday for some years because I just been working so much. But over time, I try to make an effort to enjoy it more. Otherwise, it gets kind of sad when it feels like it's shorter. This year, I've made an effort to enjoy the 12 days of Christmas instead of just Christmas Day. I usually have a little more time once Christmas is over because then all the rush is done with, all the projects are out. So now I get to kind of just like have all the treats and give all the gifts, and my other hobby is gift wrapping. I absolutely have a blast with gift wrapping. I go all out. I'll get like fake flowers, and I'll put, giant ribbon, and I'll buy some of the best expensive like wrapping paper and stuff like that. And that's kind of like my little thing I get to do during the season, but then afterwards I'm now like I can just enjoy Christmas movies and find other gems like Christmas music that I haven't listened to before and stuff like that. I don't know, I'm just trying to make an effort to enjoy it just a little bit longer before it's like officially over, which is January 6th. Even though the world kind of ends at the 25th, I kind of want to just extend a little more because otherwise it just feels like I only get just the day instead of a month and a half. One of the things that's kind of tough with mandatory overtime is, I guess the hardest thing for me personally is the work fatigue. That's like when you just work so much, and then even if you have like one day off or something a week. And some places I've worked every single day of the week. And what's kind of frustrating is like coming home and then tired, but then you go to bed and you didn't feel refreshed. There's like, after like probably a week and a half or 2 weeks, you start feeling like you can't catch up on your rest or something. And there's nothing that really like gives you that energy back except for true rest. That's the only tough part. And there are a couple things I've done to help mitigate that. Is like, one thing, it is temporary. Like, there's no way like you can do this forever for sure. But what kind of I like to do is just kind of like get in the little hoodie or snuggie and just sort of cocoon myself on the couch for a bit. But I also try to find a good TV show in the evenings and stuff. Now, there are times I've had like projects like that last on in the evening, so dinner time would be my only break. And so that was usually pretty tough. But for me though, as long as I have something playing in the background or a good show to look forward to, then it helps me just kind of like work at it and get through it. Overtime is like always been a big part for me around Christmas. So I don't get to go to all Christmas parties very often, or if I do, it's usually really late and stuff like that. And then the other thing that's kind of tricky too is like a lot happens Christmas Eve. And those days can be really tough because you're already so tired from the whole month of working, and then you're just having to do that last stretch. It's always really difficult for sure. But I've, also learned a lot of it is a perspective as well. And there's some people I've seen that truly have that joy that's like really makes that season great. And then even though like I'm at work or I'm doing a bunch of projects, having that perspective, just having that Christmas joy, it just really makes all the difference. So towards the later half of this year, I got to enjoy 12 days of chocolate instead of like advent chocolate. And this chocolate it was all dark chocolate, but it had some like crazy fillings that was inspired off of the Christmas song, the 12 Days of Christmas. My favorite still was the one with the inspired by the two pears and a partridge and pear tree. So they did like this really like nice tart pear filling inside, and that was really good. The rest was kind of just like generic chocolate or something they wanted to achieve, but it didn't quite make it, but it was fun to enjoy. It was probably the most expensive piece of chocolate I've ever had though, personally. So a couple Christmas movies I've been watching that aren't very popular. Or maybe they were at one point, but no one really I've noticed they aren't really well heard of. For example, Man in Santa Claus Suit. I grew up watching that movie. It was from the 1970s, but it was a trilogy with 3 stories in one. And then this other one that people have forgotten about was this cartoon in the 90s called Annabelle's Wish. I did watch that recently and it was fun. It had some good music in it too, so it touched on some like kind of heavy topics, but stuff like trauma and what happens to you and like what it takes to, sacrifice and like being a hero of that story and things like that. It's like, oh yeah, this old story writing was different than it is today. There isn't a lot of grit and stuff and good storytelling right now, and so I found myself just watching old movies again because that's all I can get like with good story writing anymore. For jewelers, our busy season has always been winter and fall, but our slow season is summer, specifically July and June. We usually like take vacations around this time or like send some gold that we have that we don't need to refineries and stuff like that. For the most part though, fall and winter is like when we get the most of my work. And also too, like people like when they want to go out and socialize, that's the only time they come in to have the jewelry cleaned, I learned. And so that's the third reason why our season gets so busy, so hectic. However, and what also makes it interesting is that that's also when we get the crazy, wild projects. I mean, it's fun, but like the pressure is on because now I have to set this giant ring with like 10 different amethysts that's like got all these crazy shapes and things like that. So the only real break during the holidays for us is really just Thanksgiving. After that, it's just all hands on deck for the whole month. And it definitely feels a bit much some years. I've had one year where I just worked non-stop every single day until like 1 in the morning once. But I was making all these necklaces and getting those out, but yeah, that was quite a bit. This year wasn't that much. It was still a lot, but I was still like 6 days a week, so I at least got Sundays off. But for the most part, the jewelers just like have to dwell. That's the biggest time of the year. So that's pretty much the face of the whole thing with the jewelers and the holidays and how it is for us during our overtime season. But I'm curious to know if anyone else is looking for ways to celebrate the Christmas holiday a little bit longer, like what I'm trying to do. And if you made it this far, I appreciate everyone for listening and thanks for watching.